Hey guys, RoWell from RoWellness, here to talk to you today about perspective, about some mental maintenance, and just about some negative thought patterns we might have, some self-sabotaging thought patterns we might have that we really got to start taking a look at. Recently watching the show with Jay Shetty and Dr. and they were discussing depression and how with the pandemic, it's actually tripled. That's a huge concern. 1 in 4 young adults have suicidal thoughts. The addictions, guys, have shot way up. A huge concern. And then young people, 400% self-harm has gone up, especially in young people. So these are all concerning things. And for me, they all stem from our thoughts. That's the biggest thing here. We are governed by our thoughts and our habits. And because of that, I think we have to take a really strong look at it. But let me just preface this by saying, hey guys, if your thoughts are servicing you, then this is not for you. This message is not for you. This is really for people that need some empowering thoughts, that have gotten stuck thinking some negative thoughts or some negative ideas that they picked up. And we just got to take a look at them because that's the only way we could fix these things. I want to start with procrastination, guys. Huge thing. Procrastination. It's that feeling of, oh, I'll take care of it tomorrow. It's that thought process that I'll do it tomorrow. I still have time. And this is the number one dream killer, really, procrastination, guys. It's a silent killer. It's something that happens slowly and daily. And it's something that picks up speed, It picks up speed. The more you do it, the more you get caught up in it. It's like a web, So it's something that we got to look at. And the only way to fix these kind of things is to take a hard look at it. And that's the number one thing. The number one way we're going to fix procrastination is awareness and consciousness, guys. We got to be more aware. Our light of consciousness has to come up when we start having these thoughts, and we have to start looking at it. And a huge thing that'll help with that is listing your goals, writing down what you want, writing down your whys, and then coming up with a plan. This will help put procrastination to the side because you'll have your plan, you'll have your ideas, and you'll have a way to set them up, and you won't give in to procrastination like that. So that's one of the great weapons you can use to fight procrastination. Another thing that you can really use is just jumping into action, guys. Jumping into action. Don't think too much. Figure out your plan, figure out what you want to do, and then just do it. Start doing it, Get right to it. And a big thing with that is movement, When you get stuck in a slumber, you get stuck not doing too much, your procrastination is really going to kick in, and, it's going to double up, and you're not going to feel like doing anything. You just start to move, start to get into that process of movement. Huge thing too, something that I try to use all the time, guys. Remembering your mortality. Remember, we're not here forever. If we're gonna make an impact, if we're gonna leave a legacy, whatever we're gonna do, we gotta start, and we're gonna start now. We can't wait around for somebody to come around and change things for us. We gotta take full responsibility of our thoughts and full responsibility of our attitudes. And the way that we're going to do that is by recognizing that we're here one time, we're immortals, we're not immortals, and we need to start doing something now. And the biggest thing with this procrastination thing, guys, is do what you know you have to do. This is key. You have to do it. Stop making excuses. Stop limiting yourself. Stop lying to yourself, and stop blaming others. It's time to take personal responsibility and say, you know what? I do procrastinate. I have to start digging into this, start finding out why, start finding out where it started, and then I could be in the process of healing. So let's move on for procrastination. Pessimism, guys, huge. Pessimism. This is someone that looks at the world through the worst glass, through the worst possible prism. This is someone that looks at the glass half empty. You're always looking for the wrong. I'm sure we all know somebody that's like that. And sometimes we get caught up in that. I get caught up in it. So we got to check ourselves when this is happening. This is the kind of person that looks out the window and doesn't see the sun, sees the specks in the windows, guys. And the way that this develops a lot of times is a result of external circumstances. This could come from a bad childhood. This could come from just bad habits, daily thinking. This could come from your parents passing it down to you. A bad breakup could do this. Injury, illness, any sort of trauma could do this. And what we have to remember is, guys, is not what happens, is what we do with what happens. It's always gonna come down to that. So now, how do we attack negative thinking? How do we attack this pessimism, right? Number one, let's flip the script, guys. Let's look for what's right in the world. Instead of looking for what's wrong, look for what's right. Make it a personal thing for yourself where we're constantly looking for the right and constantly looking for good in the world. That's very helpful. Again, taking the personal responsibility for something like this and saying, you know what, I'm tired of thinking negative. I'm tired of having these bad thoughts. I'm tired of these thoughts that were passed down to me or all these things, and I want to do something about it. And that's going to be awareness and consciousness, guys. Awareness and consciousness, a lot of these things, that's where it develops. Because we got to be able to dig in. We got to be able to say there's something not right here. And we got to be able to say, I want to move on from thinking negative. And I want to give myself empowering thoughts that are going to help me. They're going to feed me. And that are going to push me and motivate me and strengthen me to do and accomplish the things that I want and need out of life. With that awareness and consciousness, journaling is huge with this, guys. Time for yourself. Quiet time for yourself where you dig in, where you ask yourself the tough questions that you've been avoiding, and you go in on yourself. And this is when you do it, when you journal. Another thing we could do, guys, is feed our mind with positive thoughts. Feed your mind with good thoughts. How do you do that? Motivational videos, spiritual videos. You could do that through personal development and books, through self-growth books, through all these little disciplines, guys. And that's what it is. It's a discipline of thinking, and it's a discipline that you take it upon yourself to start your day and feed yourself something positive. And remember, you feeding yourself things all the time. Sometimes we're not conscious of it. If you're reading bad news or you're caught up in the news a lot, you're probably feeding yourself a lot of bad news. If you're caught up in some drama shows, you're feeding yourself some drama. If you're caught up in, whatever you're watching, you're feeding yourself. So don't forget that. Stand at that door of your mind and remember, those things that go in your mind, they're going to affect you. And the one last thing along those same lines, environment and the people you surround yourself with. Guys, huge. If you got people around you that are negative, if you got people around you that don't want anything out of life, if you want people around you that are kicking rocks all the time, guess what, man? That stuff, it wears on you. You pick that up even unconsciously, and that's a huge detriment to you and to your future. And those thinking habits and some of those things that you pick up, you pass them down to your kids. We pass them down to our kids. It's a cycle. So we got to remember, if we're thinking a certain way, we're going to pass this down, guys. So that's a big help right there as far as that goes. All right, guys, one more thing, and I know it's a lot, but it's another one that we have to attack, because I attack this one every day, and I've been attacking it and with even coming up with this episode. Self-doubt, guys. That feeling of inadequacy, that feeling of not being enough, of self-worth. This is directly connected to self-worth, inadequacy. And it's a fear of not having enough, which prevents us from not being who we're supposed to be. That feeling of not having enough prevents us from being who we're supposed to be. And we have to attack that. And when you're living in your past, you're going to be living in guilt. So keep this in mind. Wherever you're living, this is how you're going to be feeling. If you're living in the future, you're going to be feeling anxiousness. Try the best to live for the moment, live for the day, constantly think on self-improvement, constantly just marginal improvements every day. Just try to be better than yesterday, just 2, 3, 4, 5% better than yesterday. You'll get it done. And that'll take you a long way. But just thinking in that way, and that empowering kind of way, is a great way to fight self-doubt. And another great way to fight self-doubt, guys, is straight up become a believer. And become a believer and start with yourself. Believe in yourself is the only way we're going to get things done, is actually believing in ourselves and having that self-love to do the things that we really want to do. Having that self-love to go through and fight the fears and have courage to accomplish some of these things that we want to do and some of the things that we know we want to get done. And it's just key, man. And remember, guys, if you're fighting for your limitations, you get to keep them. By all means, if you're going to keep fighting for your limitations, keep saying that you can't do it because of this, that, and the third, you already gave up. So that's already done. So keep that in mind. Don't fight for your limitations. Let go of those limitations and free yourself of that. One more thing here, guys. The mindset of becoming a problem solver. The mindset of just being the one to say, you know what, how do I fix this? How do I get to that point? Let your mind get to that point constantly where you're saying, you know what, how do I fix this? How do I fix this? Stop focusing on the negative, and this will help you by you just saying, how do I fix this? How do I find a way? And you will find a way. I'm going to leave you with this, guys. William James, who's the father of human psychology, he came up with a lot of great things. And he said the biggest discovery of his generation was that we affect our our lives. Anyone could affect their life by the way they think and by the way they alter their attitudes. So we got to take a great, strong look at this. As we think, so we are, guys. So let's start thinking the right thoughts. Let's start thinking empowering thoughts that'll back us up in this journey for life. So